Today is March the 12th, 2019, and the time is 6 p.m. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, I entertain a motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, March the 12th, 2019.
Madam Chair, I make the motion to approve.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Ms. Stokes to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting, March 12th, 2019. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously, and we have all of our members present this evening. This is for Is there a motion to approve the minutes of our February 26, 2019 VOE regular session? Excuse me, VOE work session.
I make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Mr. Rouse and seconded by Ms. Blackshear to approve the minutes of our February 26, 2019 VOE work session. You see those minutes there. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. At this time, we're going to ask Ms. Blackshear if she will give us an ethics statement.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any non-conflict of interest? Seeing none, Madam Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you. And it's my understanding that we do not have anyone who has signed up for public participation, so we're going to move on to item 8 of our agenda, and that is our superintendent's comments.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Mr. Vice Chair and fellow board members. It's a great day to be in Twiggs. It's still sunny. We're excited about the things that are going on. I want to say thank you to all of the chefs that participated in the Taste of Twiggs on Saturday in an effort to produce some funds for our band and for our Beta Club at the elementary school that will be traveling to Oklahoma to participate in a national competition this summer. So we're very excited about that. It was a very successful event on Saturday. We didn't have a large turnout, but the ones who came out we did enjoy. We had lots of food and lots of fun and lots of fellowship. Also on April 11th, fellow board members, we will have a pinning ceremony for our CNA program. So if you would please put that on your calendars to make sure that if you're available to attend, this will be our pinning ceremony for our CNA program. And so we're excited about the things that will be happening with that program. At 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock a.m. We're excited about that, so we're looking forward to that. So, Madam Chair, that concludes my announcements for today.
Okay, and I was just going to let everyone know that you got a copy of this GSBA, the summer conference schedule. If you want to look and see which course you'd like to take and give that to Ms. and she'll register for that.
Excuse me. I failed to announce. As you see all the gifts that are around, that we have Christmas in March. It is actually Board Member Appreciation Week, and we want to say thank you. We have some gifts from the high school by way of the fruit baskets, and we want to say thank you from the high school for thinking of our board members in a very special way, and hope you enjoy your fruit baskets from the high school. Our middle school has provided for you some very special packets for you with some treats in them, as you can tell from there. And our elementary school. They are here. Yes. Our elementary school also has some treats for you. So we are excited about that.
You want to come in?
Yes. And also, we have for you, we have a gift for you from the district office, a keychain for you. And as Ms. Stokes has closed hers up, a keychain for each board member that has board member on one side, and on the back side it says that you are the key to our success. Because we know that student achievement begins and ends with you guys, because that is the forefront of the reason of why you are here. So you are the key to our success, and we appreciate that. We also have for you a portfolio with your name on it, recognizing that we want to brand you as a board member from Twiggs County Public Schools, and we want everybody to know you're a proud board member from Twiggs County. We also have a special pen for you, so as you attend board meetings, your pen will be left here. You will not take that home. So it will be here for this TV set, so to be writing with, so to be set up. So Ms. Blackshear will break that pen in really nicely tonight.
Right now.
So we just a little appreciation to say we appreciate what you do. Sometimes this is the most thankless job that you can have, but we really do appreciate the job that you do for the boys and girls of Twiggs County. Would y'all join me in thanking them?
And I'd just like to say I feel pretty confident in saying on behalf of our board, and anyone else does the same thing as well. Thank you, Mr. McKay, thank you, Mr. Harris, thank you, high school, thank you, middle school, thank you, Dr. Ramsey, and thank you, Mr. Paul, thank you, Ms. Jenkins, thank you for the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school for the wonderful gifts, and our superintendent and our board for these wonderful gifts. But the true gift, and although everyone loves gifts and we love getting things, the true gift is you. The true gift is what you do for the boys and the girls of our county every single day. The true gift is having a superintendent that goes and represents our board and goes out and works hard, and an office staff that just works so hard, a board of education staff, and principals that go out and support our teachers, and teachers that work so very hard in helping every step of the way and helping our kids. And that is the true gift. So, thank you.
You said enough. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And then go ahead and say it,
We
Mr. Rouse. I
appreciate
said
it.
probably a little bit too long. And my gift also is this board. It's the board.
Absolutely.
It's working with this board that we're together. And I tell you, we are on board for the kids. We're on board for you, and we work hard. We, like Mr. Rouse always says, we might not always agree with each other, but we have to agree to disagree sometimes.
That's right.
But we do agree that we want what's best for our kids, and we want what's best for our teachers and our employees in our county. So thank you for that.
And one additional thing, Madam Chair, we have our district spelling bee winner is here tonight. He was ill at when we wanted to award him his gift on our last meeting. So we would ask that he come forward at this time so we might present his gift, and we would ask Mr. Paul to come forward and present our gift tonight. Okay.
That's great. That's great.
Hello, sir. Congratulations. Can you spell my name? I'm gonna tell you what it is. Can you spell it? Okay, all right, then, that's great. Want to say on behalf of Twiggs County Public Schools, our board chair, Ms. Joni Rainey, our vice chair, Ms. Isaiah Rouse, Elgin Dixon is superintendent. We're very proud of you and congratulations for being our district spelling bee winner. Is that Zaquadre? Zaquadre Coley. Would y'all help me congratulate?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I believe your mom is here. Okay, would you like to introduce your mom?
My mom is Patricia Stevens.
Okay, all right. Patricia Stevens.
I want to shake your hand, young man. Thank you. Great job. Keep it up.
I'm proud of you. Thank you. I didn't even say that's why we all do what we do, isn't it? That's wonderful. All right, we're going to move on now to our business agenda, and the first item on our business agenda will be the recognition of the spelling bee winner, and we just did that. And our next item will be the Title II budget amendment. This is an action item, and Mr. King will present.
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, Mr. Dixon. Our Title II Part A budget agenda, budget amendment. This is an amendment to the budget that we had approved back in November. If you recall, the purpose of our Title II Part A federal funds is to increase the academic achievement of our students by helping schools and districts improve teacher and administrative quality. And on our first allotment for 2019, as you can see, was $49,790. We budgeted that money back in the beginning of the school year. We now have received our carryover, which was $4,256, which is money that we did not spend last year, so we carried over to this year. And as you can see, we took that money and put it in our instructional staff training, which is going to be function 2213. And what you see here is two areas. The black is what we were in November. And what we did was we increased our travel for PL. Of course, we picked up the cost of our aspiring principals, of our APs that are attending that. So we picked up their travel and lodging for their required trainings and meetings, as well as we also picked up our DOE required meetings that are required through the federal programs, such as our federal program, our GACES conferences and things of that nature. So we increased that from 1,000 to 5, and then the remaining 256 we put into stipends for our teachers as they continue to work on different projects. Questions?
So, Mr. King, with the stipends, those stipends are going to be for this summer for unit development?
Those are summer stipends that the teachers will use to work on unit development.
Yes. Are there any questions for board members? Madam Chair, if not, I will seek approval.
Okay. You've heard our Mr. King's presentation and our superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the Title II Part A budget amendment for 2018-2019?
One thing I want to say is this going to affect us in any way for our funding?
Say it again now.
Is it with this amendment, is this going to affect us anyway?
Absolutely. No matter what we're actually doing is going up.
Okay.
So we was at 49, so we just need to take that money from last year and dump it over into this year.
Okay.
Anything we don't spend, they want to make sure they give it back to us. So we didn't spend $4,000 last year, so they gave it back to us.
That motion. I'll second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Ms. Blackshear to approve the Title II Part A budget amendment as presented. Are there any other questions? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. King. Our next item will be an action item. This is a modification of 2018-19 school calendar, and that's for this year. Mr. Dixon.
Madam Chair, as we've reviewed over the past 4 to 5 years, on the last day of school, normally our attendance is rather low for whatever reason, and we are also trying to get prepared for graduation on that night, because we normally graduate on that we close out school on that Friday, and we have graduation on that Friday night. And what we're seeking approval to do is to have a half a day on that Friday. And, with your approval, we will have a half a day that will allow us time to prepare for graduation and not be stressed. Normally we're running right up to time for graduation, trying to get prepared for it. And most schools around the area now are leaning towards a half a day on the last day of school.
And that is May 24th, is that right?
That's correct.
Sounds good. Madam Chair, I make the approval to approve the modification for May 24th, 2018 school calendar.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the modification to our 2018-2019 calendar as presented. Is there any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And Mr. Dixon, I'm sure we'll go ahead and get the word out now.
Yes,
For
ma'am.
the parents, so they prepare
Yes,
for
ma'am.
that. Thank you. Okay. And then our next item will be a professional learning report review. This is an information item. Mr. King.
Right. Back again, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Board members, Mr. Dixon, our professional learning overview. As you can see there in your package, you have the professional learning overview that will take place of the professional learning that has occurred from July 1, 2018 up until March the 12th, which is today's date. And you will notice the headings under each one. You will see the area. The area will consist of different things that we will label those professional learnings. If it was a leadership style professional learning, maybe it was something dealing with our school safety, instructional, maybe it's the administrative staff, the secretaries were going to do something, different subject areas such as math, social studies, science, ELA, our student support, as well as our pre-K, as well as our SPED. And as you look through them, you will see the next column will be our PL opportunity. So it's the name of where the PL actually took place. What was the name of the PL? Then you'll see the attendees who all went, the total number of staff members, as well as the location in which it took place, and then the dates. And it's about probably about 12 pages there for your review of the different PLs that have taken place this year.
Pretty thick.
And Madam Chair, one of the reasons that we're providing this information is to provide transparency, so that you all will be abreast of what kinds of things and what kinds of activities that we are attending to improve student achievement. That there is, to negate the idea that when we are out of the building, that we're not out of the building for free falling, that we're out to help and improve student achievement. And now a lot of this is done in-house too. A lot of times when you see Middle Georgia RESA, when you see the Deal Center, they're bringing things to us. We're not always out of the building either. When you see the Godot, sometimes that's things that are brought to us as well. So it's not always that we're out of the building. Even whatever professional learning that we're undertaking is listed in here as well. But it's for your review, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact myself or Mr. King, and we'll be glad to have further discussions with you. But feel free to have those discussions with me.
And I just have one question. Just say you have an employee in our system, we have an employee, a teacher, or any employee who desires to go to a conference, who has found a conference that they can use. What would be the process for that if they wanted to attend, if they came up with the idea to?
As far as the teacher, the first thing they'll do is let their building administrator know. And if once the building administrator have approved them to go, then they will then let us know here at the office. And then we'll make sure that either how it's gonna be funded, or if maybe the school, there are some that you will see here that the school funded, so it went directly through the principal, but then there'll be some where maybe a principal found a conference. One particular teacher here found a conference, reached out to his principal then contacted me to see could we do it.
So
And
there
it was
is a
something that was
procedure.
allowed
Okay.
with, it has to be allowed within our school improvement plan as well as our CNA. Because if we did not write in our CNA, then we cannot fund it with our federal dollars.
Okay.
Because they're, with the new ELSA, they're buckling
Right.
down on what, we gotta put it in the plan if we're gonna do it.
So there is a procedure?
There is,
if-
absolutely.
If
Yes,
we have
ma'am.
an employee that desires to,
Yes,
something like that, okay. You can take this and have any other questions? Take this in, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, there was no action on that. Okay, so our next item will be the January financial report. This is an action item, and Mr. Austin will present.
Good evening, Board Chair, Vice Chair, Mr. Dixon, Board members. Before you in the clear package, you have the financial report as prepared as always. It is a sunny day in Twiggs County because we are taking in more money than we're spending out. And I'm always glad to report that it's a good day,
That's a good thing.
especially in the month of January. So high level of what took place is that 75% of what we're supposed to be taking in, we have met that because we're about 75% into our budget year. So that's a good thing. And also going to the revenue, the expenditure side, we're about 65% into our expenditures, and by budget year, we're still on that 75% threshold. So I believe at this particular point in that third quarter, we always see an influx of money coming in because the taxpayers are, their money is accumulating. So we anticipated this. So we was able to do a lot of great things as always, and I think that we're heading in a great direction for our budgetary procedures. Any concerns? Normally in the fourth quarter, which is April through June, this is where we want to make sure that everything we're holding ship, ensuring that we're coding things correctly, that we're able to account for expenditures, and that we're meeting the expectations of the board and the local taxpayers. So I'm confident that we're meeting those expectations. We're having great strategic meetings about how we're trying to end this year, and I am happy to report that we're keeping the weather sunny on this report.
It's not necessarily about this report, but it's about our budget. I know a couple of meetings ago, we approved the policy for the travel and
Yes,
those
ma'am.
expenditures. Is that enforced now? How is it going?
Yes, ma'am, it is fully enforced. It's becoming something that we monitor monthly. We ensure that those procedures are in front of our business officers and our key stakeholders. And we're planning on doing further training to ensure that everyone understands the nuances of it.
And then, on this report at the end, it says FY19 annual budget, ending fund balance at the this number, at 908, 900,000.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that our expected ending fund balance? Is that what we're thinking we may?
So as of right
Yes, yes.
now, as of this month, that month in January, that's what we're currently looking at as our fund balance. Of course, it fluctuates from month to month, but as of January 31st, this is where our fund balance currently lies.
We're hoping, what do you say, the good Lord is willing and the creek don't rise?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and There are a couple things that could impact that before, Ms. Rainey get too happy, with that number. It looks really good and we're excited about that number, but I'll just give you a situation of what we've got. We have been fortunate that our handicap bus, our lift bus that had a lift, it's rather old and we had not had a student that required the lift bus. So we had been praying and hoping that we would not have to invest any money into it. Well, guess what? We had a student to enroll that needed the lift bus. So right now we're using the lift bus to pick up that one student and go and pick up that one student. That's all we're picking up right now. This summer, we know that we got to put some money into that. So there are some unexpected expenditures that sometimes pop up that may affect that number. So we're trying to hold the reins tight. We knew that this year we would have a tight budget coming out of C and some other things that we've talked about from the very beginning. But we're very proud to say that where we are and holding, and so we're trying to hold it. And Mr. Austin, I will say, has done a great job of communicating, being at the table. I call him in very often to sit down and have these financial talks, and he's done a great job with that.
Thank you. All right, you have a recommendation
Any fellow board members, any other questions? The change in the fund balance to 210,695. Mr. Austin, what you
That was fiscal year last year.
Okay,
So we just put both fiscal years as a comparison.
okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? No other questions, Madam Chair. I will seek approval for the January financial report.
You've heard Mr. Austin's report and you've heard our superintendent's recommendation. Is there a motion to approve the financial report for January 2019?
Madam Chair, make the motion to approve the January financial report.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the January financial report 2019. Any other discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And our next item is an action item. It's the selection of our GSBA delegate, Mr. Dixon.
Yes. Madam Chair, we need to select a delegate and an alternate to represent us at GSBA for summer in June, but we need to send the names in, so we need someone to represent this board.
And Mr. Harrison, are you familiar with the delegate that goes with each board? Selects a delegate and alternate to go to see the General Assembly, the delegation. So you went, okay, and that usually happens in June, and so we elect a wonderful volunteer who will do it and an alternate that will go in case our delegate cannot go. So any suggestions?
I recommend you, our chair.
I would do unless, I would.
I think Mr. Mike Gaspar too.
All right, and do we need to do this in the form of an action, Mr. Dixon?
No, that's it.
Is it? I don't, unless you're,
That's it.
okay, I'll do. All right. And I don't see any need to put that in the motion.
No, ma'am.
So let's move on to the next item, which will be our athletic program update, and Coach Villayall.
Good evening. Good evening, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, fellow board members, Superintendent Mr. Dixon. I got my little cover on the screen here. It's been a minute since I've been up here to give an update. So with basketball, I wanted to take this opportunity to congratulate our girls who made it by region tournament, which was a big step up. Congratulations to Coach Drew and Coach Lockhart as well. Baseball, is just starting up. We got some infield mix purchased and did the field maintenance. Has been done. We bought infield tarps to cover the pitcher's mound and the home plate. And we also bought an L screen to help with batting practice. We're still looking to make some more upgrades for baseball and softball. Me and Mr. Bacon are looking into some things that we can get done to give our baseball program a better chance of success. We leased out some porta potties for the baseball season for our fans and other team fans who come to our field, so they have somewhere to use the restroom and not have to walk all the way across and back into the building. The middle school baseball is doing very well. They're actually 2-1. They won 2 ball games, which is the first time they've won a game since I've been here. It's the best start in a long time, which is a good thing. Next up, track will have their first track meet on Thursday, March the 14th. We have rec basketball, which will be starting the first week of April. And our athletic banquet will be in May. It's May 8th on a Wednesday at 6 o'clock. It will be for all sports. And last but not least, financially, currently, we're all in good standing. We don't have any outstanding balances.
The banquet is on May 8th.
Yes, sir, it's a Wednesday. At 6 o'clock, yes ma'am.
Could you possibly make out some schedules for us so we'll know when the when the baseball games are and stuff like that? Because for myself, I can't get it on my iPad.
Yes ma'am, no problem.
Unless
I
one of
can
my
do that.
grandyoungins tells me that it's going on, I don't know nothing about it.
Yes ma'am. We can get that done.
But any of the activities, we need a schedule on it.
Will do. I'll look into see if me and Miss Tina can collaborate and get for all our athletics, get a little small schedules together so we can have for our board members. That'd be good.
I know
Yes,
she ain't
ma'am.
got enough
The
to do
track
already.
Ma'am.
The track field, how is it gonna ever get in?
Well, we're actually looking into some things. We haven't made a decision yet.
The track field is one of those projects that's going to.
Have to wait.
It's going to be. It's one that we will have to address. It's just one of our priorities that we've got to look at. When we did our track field, we did not do it properly for longevity. And so it's going to have to be a major project. It's going to be one of our major SPLOST projects eventually.
Okay.
But we're just trying to address some of our fiscal needs with our buildings. As you know from our 5-year fiscal plan, that our next focus is our HVAC down at our JES. And so that's our next major project that we have. But because one of the things that we have to remember is that we just had a recent student to graduate from a college scholarship from track. So that's one of the areas that we're going to have to eventually put some funds into. So, but that is a very good question, Ms. Blackshear, that's something on the radar.
That's
But
right. I know we got to prioritize the most
Yeah.
important, so that's.
But it is on our radar.
There's some restaurants out there, the baseball field.
Yes. And another thing is some lighting out there, but when we looked at the cost of it, but we're exploring avenues of a school district that may be getting rid of some lights, that we may be able to get, some colleges that may be getting rid of some. We're trying to explore some of those kinds of things to make sure, and Mr. Bacon is very industrious when it comes to those kinds of things. But we have a lot, we've done a lot, but we have a lot that we need to do. But we're just trying to keep it in priority and make sure that student learning environment is first.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item is an action item, and this is approval of JES administrators for out-of-state travel.
Madam Chair, I provided for you the information and the amounts concerning the out-of-state travel. Before you, I'll give you an opportunity to review.
You know, I just want to say, is this gonna hurt our budget in any way? I know we amended our Title II and it's for professional development, but is this gonna affect us in any way?
Well, we don't have enough in Title II to address it. In Title I is one of those areas where it can only address certain portions of it.
Right.
If we allow it to go through Title I, there may be the opportunity that we may have to pay some back if it's not addressed. You know, they take the agenda, they go through it, they mark through it. One of those situations we have to look at from Title I standpoint. So it's, if we don't have a line item in for it. I looked today at their school budget, because we do lots of money for them, but their school money was spent at the beginning of the year. Mr. Austin and I, we looked at that today. So if we allow this trip to go, it will be from local.
Okay, will it be any legal issues though with it coming from?
From local? There's no legal.
No, not from saying, I know you said that they can get a portion out of Title I, but so you just gonna?
And I'm gonna let the Title I director respond to what how that's, because those rules.
We don't wanna get in trouble, no legal issues with.
Well, I reached out to them and, because, I wanna make sure that they make those decisions, and I have the response that we got back, and of course, they asked it used to be 3 questions, now it's 4, is it reasonable, allowable, equitable, and is it written in the school plan?
Right.
So, but just to answer your question, it says, and I'm gonna read it, it says, once the agenda is made available, sessions will be identified to support the intent and purpose of Title I as determined by the Georgia Department of Education. Title I may be able to pay a proportionate share based on the sessions with a Title I academic focus. After discussions with the NAESP, it was shared that the keynote speakers this year are based on administrative functions. Hence, when you get audited or monitored, the general fund will be held responsible for conference costs that are not allowable under Title I. Does that answer?
So it's.
You said a portion?
Yes, ma'am.
So the safest route is general.
So on the second page, it has the cost for 2, and that's around 4,000. I mean, it's just under $4,000 for 2.
Well, my recommendation would be, if it's allowable, if you guys want to go, allowed to go, that we would have to take it from the general fund.
a motion to?
So, Madam Chair, I'll seek approval for them to attend the National Elementary School Principals Association in
And this
Spokane,
is-
Washington.
And this is for two?
Two.
So you've heard our superintendent's recommendation for two people to go to the NAESP conference for two, and that'll be our principal and assistant principal. Is there a motion from our board to approve this conference?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay, the motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Harris to approve the conference for two, our principal and the Jefferson Elementary principal and assistant principal to go to the NAESP conference in Washington. In the amount of $3,789 to be paid from local funds. Is there any discussion?
Yes. In reference to local funding, in our general fund, these funds that we just allocated for such conference are still under our current budget for trainings and conferences.
There was not a line item budgeted. Am I correct, for the elementary school? Their line item budgets for what was allotted for them has been expended, am I correct?
Yes.
All of their funds have been expended.
Okay. But in general, conference or training purposes, we still have some funds available for such. Okay. What's policy or standard policy for conference dates to meet the calendar?
For me, I have to submit mine at the beginning of the year.
Okay.
The board approves mine at the beginning of the
Okay.
year.
We don't have said board policies for individual schools or personnel for recommendations or recommendations from the superintendent per school per school or per personnel or department.
It's been my understanding, but not a policy per se, that just like I was talking about and Mr. Dixon, the budget is set at the beginning of the year, and so you have so much budgeted for professional learning and those kinds of things. Not necessarily the conferences at the beginning of the year, no, because we don't have the only conferences that we have that come across us to us are the out of state. Am I correct in saying that? They're only the ones that are come from out of state. And this year, it's been the superintendent's conference, and it's been the National Board of Education conference, and this is the third one that I'm aware, that I'm remembering from.
Okay.
And the other conferences are written into their plans.
Absolutely. Cool. I know there will be times that conferences such as come up, and we want to be able to allow each individual school per their admin to be able to search these out, and we won't always have them at the beginning of the fiscal year or the beginning of the calendar year. Sometimes they may come up such as we want to be able to allocate funds in our general budget. We want to give them a line item at some sense, or maybe increase the current line item that we do have. But maybe at some sense we have a dollar amount in our general funds for conferences and retreats and so on and so forth that may come up in the middle of the year. We hope that that wouldn't be a trend. However, we would wish to have some funds allocated because per my understanding, the original request may have been more than 2 people. But it might be feasible for us to take these 2 people in general funds, but they may have other staff that may want to go, or they may feel the need to go. We can allocate some funds for that so it won't hit us, and it seems like a hit in our general funds account. So maybe we need to look at increasing or positioning a policy for dates to be submitted for conferences going forward.
Is there any other discussion? Okay, once again, the motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Harris to approve the JES administrators out-of-state travel as presented. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. All right, our next item is item I, and that is for our April 23rd board meeting cancellation. This is an action item, Mr. Dixon.
Yes, ma'am. Madam Chair, we will be having our retreat on that Thursday of that week. So we would like to have our retreat on that Thursday rather than our meeting on that Tuesday.
And that will be, calendar, the 23rd, April 23rd, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So the April 23rd meeting will be canceled, and instead we're going to be doing our April 25th as our board retreat.
Yes, ma'am, at 5 o'clock p.m.
Okay, and that is an information item, so that needs no action on that part. Okay? Mark your calendar for that. And what time will the retreat be, Mr. Dixon?
5 o'clock p.m.
All right, thank you. Our next item is item K, and that is district request. This is an action item. It's our district request, is that correct?
Yes. Madam Chair, we're going to seek approval for our district request. We have two before you.
You see the field trip request here as presented.
I'll make that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Ms. Blackshear to approve the district request that you see before you. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And is there a motion to move into executive session for personnel matters?
Move that motion.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear and seconded by Mr. Rouse to move into executive session for personnel matters. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Hires at Jefferson Elementary, two candidates for hire, Ms. Thomas and Ms. Register. All in favor, please raise your hand. That's all 4-4, those against?
Sustained.
One sustained, so that carries with 4-4, one sustained. All right, the next item will be the administrative recommendations for 2019-2020 as presented by our superintendent in executive session. Is there a motion to approve those administrative recommendations?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Stokes and seconded by Mr. Harris to approve the administrative recommendations of 2019-2020. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. Then our next one will be the termination of our employee at Jefferson Elementary and the resignation of the bus driver from the personnel report. Is there a motion to approve that termination and that resignation?
I'll move the motion.
Second.
The motion has been made by Ms. Blackshear, seconded by Mr. Rouse to approve the termination and resignation for the personnel from our personnel report. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries unanimously. And is there a motion to adjourn? Entertain. Ms. Stokes, is there a motion to adjourn?
Yes.
Motion has been made by Ms. Stokes to return, to adjourn, not to return yet, and seconded by Mr. Rouse. All in favor, please raise your hand. That motion carries.